Hello everybody, welcome to Finnigan 40K. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. This is not my Acadian Crusade narrative, but I wanted to pop off a quick battle just before the new year. So this is going to be kind of a new series I have planned. It's called the Last Stand series, and it's going to be a setup that will be the same every single time for the enemy side as well as the fortress for the good guys. The enemy force is going to be Tyranid each time, and the Allied force is going to change. So the Imperium force will change each time. I might bring Chaos Space Marines in too, just see how everybody does. I'll go over the numbers of those forces in just a sec and what compromises consists of both sides there, or what the forces are made up of. So in here, I want to have my Imperial Fists. These are my 40K Imperial Fists. So this is about 500 points, I think, maybe just a little bit underneath, versus a Tyranid army of just under 1,200. I'll get those numbers in just a sec to be sure. But it's going to be 3 units with a character model. So it's not going to be a named character, but it will be like a lieutenant, a captain, captain in Terminator armor, captain in Phobos armor, someone that's an unnamed champion for one of the chapters. So for this first battle, I have selected a heavy intercessor squad. I got Blade Guard veterans with a Terminator captain, and I have my Gravis Eradicator models, and we'll see how they did. They did pretty well in that first battle with the Crimson Fists. So this is going to be literally a fight until the Allied models are dead. So the Tyranid are going to be coming at them. The Imperium models will start every single time, and this chapter is going to change out. I've also kept the chapters as close as I can to kind of their what they're known for, like the lore. So the Imperial Fists here have kind of like a bulwark, defense. They've got some Blade Guard veterans. They have Marines and Gravis armor and a Terminator captain. If I field like, my Raven Guard, they're probably going to be more like Reaver Marines led by, a Phobos captain or Phobos lieutenant. And then, Crimson Fists might be intercessors. Salamanders are going to be Infernus, and so on and so on. So we'll cover each force here. The Imperial Fists have been done, but I'll go over to the Tyranid now. So on this side here, lots of both shooting, ranged, and hand-to-hand combat melee weapons. So we have the Mortrix, I forget what he's called, his full name, but he's in there as a flying model. I have a squad of 10 Termagants, Screamer Killer, 10 Termagants, and then a 10 squad of Gargoyles back here for some quick movement and some firing. This is more of kind of a hand-to-hand, a little bit of range here as well, but we have the Von Ryan's Leapers, Ripper Swarm, Von Ryan's Leapers, and then Barbgons at the back. And then over here, we have a 20 section of Termagants, a 20 section of Termagants. We have the Tervagon, and then we have some Spore Mines here with the Biovore. So this is a pretty well-rounded Tyranid force. It more than doubles the size of the Space Marines that are here, and it's going to probably be the same each time. I think my Space Marine units are going to equal pretty close to 500 points each. I'm not going to go over the 500 points, and this is literally just to see. I'm going to tally up how many units they kill, how long they last, how many turns they're in, and kind of compare which chapter does best. I don't know if it's going to take off. We'll see. I just thought it was kind of a fun idea to shoot this battle really quick before the new year. I'll get back to my Crusade narrative there in time, but I wanted to get this one done, and it might be just, an extra little watch list on my 40K YouTube videos just to show you guys how the chapters do, and we'll tally up everything at the end and kind of see who does what. If you guys want to comment, if you're Imperial Fist players or Raven Guard or anything, what kind of strategies I could use, that'd be awesome too. And I'm going to get to this right now, so I'll probably be rolling a few things in the dice tray and then coming back and forth to show the movements. As always, Imperium will go first every single time, and the setup is going to be the same for every single battle, just with the Imperial models changed out. So for myself too, I'm just recording here to make sure I remember where everybody's placed for the enemy side. Shouldn't be too tough, I think, to track, because it's pretty much made up of a massive amount of Termagants and then a few character models for them. But yeah, here we go. It should be a little fun, and we will see you starting off with the Imperial Fists. Okay, so just want to make sure I was passing on the right information. Just did a quick tally of all the points. So it's 395 points currently for the Imperial Fists that are here. I had a little bit higher than that because I was originally going to take in aggressors, and instead I took in the Eradicators. So that is the Imperial Fist army. And then this Tyranid side is very close to 1,200. It is 1,195 points of Tyranid. I'm going to get into the move, probably not too much movement for the Imperial Fists. I'll come back and show you guys the move there. And we're probably going to get into shooting pretty quick. My Blade Guard veterans and Terminator Captain are here for any hand-to-hand that comes through the facility, and then hoping to pick off some numbers with these guys and get some points going. I'm going to be tallying up everything on the side, and I don't know, this is the first time I'm doing this, and maybe we'll do an addition throughout and kind of pop some text up on the screen to let you guys know how many units they've killed, things like that. So let's get it going. Hopefully it's fun. Alrighty. Okay, so first rule of the Last Stand battle series. This is Imperial Fists. Imperium always getting the first turn. They couldn't move much. They're stuck inside a facility, so I'm having my heavy intercessors fire at the Von Ryan's Leapers. I'm going to start off with the heavy bolt rifle, or the heavy bolter. So hitting on 3s. That's 3 2s. So my luck continues with the rolls from my allies. The heavy bolter fired by a superhuman Space Marine did not shoot. At least I have the heavy bolt rifle, so they are hitting on 3 pluses, and it's 2 shots each. So, not great again, but we got a few in there. And this is a strength 5 weapon versus a toughness 5, so 4 to wound. And got a few wounds in there, so that's good. So 3 wounds, 1, 2, 3. And it is a -1 to AP, which makes the Von Ryan's Leaper save 5+. So here we go. And it saved 2, and 1 wound was removed, so the Von Ryan's Leapers have lost 1 wound, and I'm going to move it over to the other guys, and I'll come back and show you guys the shoot on my other camera. Okay, so that's the end of the first turn for the Imperial Fists. Not able to move too much, so my heavy weapons were rolling a little bit better, which was good. As you guys saw, my heavy intercessors didn't do too much, but they chipped a wound off of one of the Von Ryan's Leapers here. My Blade Guard veterans and Terminator Captain fired into the Ripper Swarms, and they were able to kill one and take it out. And then my Eradicator squad up on the wall here fired into this 20 Termagant unit and knocked out a lot of models with those heavy, the Multi-Melta and then the Melta rifle. It's moving back over to my Tyranid now, and they're going to be just hauling ass to get over to this facility to eat up some biomass for the Tyranid hive mind, and we're going to see how that goes. Let's see how the Imperial Fists do, and I'll be right back with the Tyranid move. Okay, Tyranid movement is done. It's not looking quite like Starship Troopers yet, but it's getting there. And that's kind of the idea behind this, is that last stand there. So Von Ryan's Leapers have come right up to the wall. They couldn't jump, though. They were just outside of range there. Ripper Swarms are kind of scratching away at the walls there too. The other Von Ryan's Leapers, next turn, they're going to be into the facility for sure. Barbguns stayed back to be able to fire. Termagants rushed in. Tervagon is up there too, as well as the wounded Termagant squad. And the Biovores at the back here. Shooting is going to happen here, so that Biovore is going to be launching Spore Mines into this facility and having them bobble around, and you never know what damage they could do. The Parasite Mortrex flew, that's its name, Parasite Mortrex. It's 12 inches, so it flew up right from the back of the board, almost to the wall. Same with the Gargoyles, they're all going to be flying in. So this shooting phase, you know, I'm hoping that they're not going to do too much damage because I do have my Imperial Fists in cover. But these Imperial Fists next shooting turn are going to have to really get some good rolls to start to thin out these numbers if they want to hold on as long as they possibly can, because these Tyranid are going to be inside the facility pretty soon, and we're going to see how quickly this battle is. But these Imperial Fists, they got really high toughness, good wounds. We'll see how it goes. Okay, first roll for the Tyranid here during their turn 1. I've never really known, like the 10th edition, because I didn't use Flesh Borers last mission because they weren't allowed to shoot as kind of a handicap to them, but it's a strength 5 weapon. It's actually really good for just like a skittering horde creature. So I'm going to be rolling 4 pluses here with the Flesh Borer. It's a strength 5 versus toughness 6, and they're firing at the Eradicators. Definitely in range, so here we go.
So we're looking for 4 pluses. A lot didn't hit, which is good for my Imperial Fists. 3 are through though, and with that strength 5, like, there's a lot of these guys out here, and they're going to all be shooting in this turn, so we're going to see what happens here. Strength 5 against toughness 6, I need 5s here to wound. So luckily no wound as well for my Imperial Fists, so those 9 remaining termagants from that first squad have not hit anything. I'm going to do the rest of the shoot for my Tyranid models, and I will come right back and show you guys the outcome on my other camera.
Okay, so that concludes the Tyranid move and shoot. There's no hand-to-hand combat, so that's the end of turn 1. Little bit of damage, not crazy. The toughness and the cover as well for my Marines is really helping out getting that better save. But one of the Eradicator squad was brought down to 2 wounds by the Finnigan. It fired its spine missiles or whatever it was. The Biovore fired a Spor mine into the corner of the facility here. That thing is going to be floating around, so they're going to have to take care of that. And then over here, pretty much every single unit on this side of the table unloaded on the heavy intercessors, and they brought one of the intercessors down to 1 wound. So that's, even though the toughness is there, as well as that cover for the save, he was still brought down to 1 wound. So it's moving back over to the Imperial Fists. Very important shoot phase here for them. Luckily, they're not moving, so that heavy weapons ability is going to really come in handy here for a better weapon skill to be able to, or sorry, ballistic skill to be able to hit. So I might roll a couple of those off in the dice tray, and I'll show you guys what Tyranid models have been killed at the end of their second turn.
Alright, this is start of turn 2 for Imperial Fists. I'm using the Eradicators to fire into that remaining Termagant group to try to get some, not points, but get a unit destroyed. So firing with the Multi-Melta first. 3 pluses because it is heavy, they did not move. So that's good, got both of those. It is strength 9 versus toughness 3, so 2s to wound. Both are wounds. -4. The Termagants do not have a save against that. They don't have an invulnerable save. So we're going to be seeing how much damage this has done. So D6 is 1 and 4. So 4 more Termagants have been killed for that. And I'm going to be firing with the remaining Melta rifles here. Let's see if we can take these guys out. So that was 3 done there. 3 plus, got them both. It is 9 against toughness 3, so it's 2s to wound. Both are wounds. This is good, and it's going to be D6, 6, and 3. That's actually enough to finish them off. So that Termagant squad has been eliminated by the Eradicators and is going to count towards kind of a unit total at the end for the last stand battle. This might be my last dice roll, I think. I'll probably come back behind the camera each time and just show you guys how the battle moves. But want to get that one in. Finally getting some good rolls, so that's great, and those Termagants are all gone.
All right, so that's the end of the Imperial Fist turn 2. They did some pretty good damage there. So the Termagant unit that was here, as you guys saw on the dice tray, was wiped out by my Eradicator squad here. The Blade Guard veterans, as well as the Terminator captain, fired into the Von Ryan's Leapers. Nothing happened for that. But over here, my heavy intercessors started to fire into the Von Ryan's Leapers, and they were able to kill 2 and then wound the last. So this is super important. Those are really good in hand-to-hand combat, as we saw during my first fight against the Tyranid with my Crimson Fists. I'm excited to get these guys in to the Crimson Fists down the line. I'll see what kind of unit I'm going to put in here for them. Probably similar to the, Ultramarines, as they're kind of the Ultramarine Imperial Fists, but we'll see how it goes. It is now going back over to the Tyranid turn, and there's going to be a lot of hand-to-hand combat, I think, as a lot of stuff is in range. So this one might be over sooner than later. We will see, though. The Imperial Fists will continue to fight on, and with the diversification of this unit, like still holding true to the Imperial Fist lore of that kind of bulwark, heavy armored Marines, got some hand-to-hand combat support, got some heavy weapons, and then have, even more heavy weapons over here. So we know the Imperial Fists are great at defending fortresses. This is a fortress, a last stand in the middle of a desert somewhere, and we are going to see how this turn ends up. I'll come back and show you guys what the Tyranid have done for their move. Well, it looks like the last stand has finally started during Tyranid turn 2. So they moved. A lot of hand-to-hand combat here. So my Blade Guard veterans and Terminator captain are locked in with the Von Ryan's Leapers and Ripper Swarms. These guys are a little bit too far, so they're not in there. Turvagon smashed down the wall, and it is within the facility, but not in hand-to-hand combat range yet. And my Imperial Fist Eradicator squad is going to try to finish that thing off. The termagants over here moved up. My Barbgaunts stayed as they have heavy weapons, so they're going to try to keep chipping at anyone that might survive this round. And my Biovore hasn't fired yet either because the shooting is to come next. The 10 termagants have moved up here. The gargoyles are starting to fly all over the wall. And the Parasite of Mortrex, as well as that lone Von Rein's Leaper, has jumped into hand-to-hand combat with my Assault Intercessors. And also the Screamer Killer is in the facility with the last 10 termagants behind it. And that damn little Spore mine that I forgot about is sort of floating closer. So within 3 inches, that thing can do some devastating damage. It's still, like if it blew up right now, it'd be going at the wall, but it might float up that wall next turn. And I have a feeling my Biovore is going to fire another one of those into the facility. So we're going to see how this goes. I'm going to move to the Tyranid shoot phase, come back, show you guys what happened there. There's actually only one unit that is open for shooting, and that is the Eradicators. And then from there, we're going to move to hand-to-hand, but I'll do shoot first, and I'll come right back. All right, so this Termagant Swarm fired into the Eradicator squad during the last Tyranid shoot and didn't do anything. The stinging salvos, though, from this thing definitely wounded one of the Imperial Fists. The Barbgaunts also wounded an Imperial Fist, and one was killed from that attack as well. So the Barbgaunts have their heavy ability, so they were able to shoot really well. And the Imperial Fist Eradicators, which are the only open models during this turn for shoot, have one guy with full wounds and then one guy left with 1 wound, and then they've lost one of their guys. So that's the first casualty for the Imperial Fists. It's moving to the hand-to-hand combat phase now. That's going to be a lot of rolls going on, and I will come back and show you guys the outcome of that and see how many Imperial Fist models are still alive at the end of that hand-to-hand combat phase. Okay, so Tyranid turn 2 hand-to-hand combat phase is completed. This is the outcome of it. So the Assault or Heavy Intercessors, there's the guy that still has 1 wound, but they were able to fend off the Parasite of Mortrex, pushed it off the roof, as well as that final Von Rein's Leaper. This next turn, I might have to start to kind of try to beetle over to that other tower, get some more turns out of them. We'll have to see, because if I don't, they're going to be in hand-to-hand combat right away. Over here, the Blade Guard veterans lost one of their guys to the Von Rein's Leaper and Ripper Swarm attack. They fought back, though, and killed the Von Rein's Leaper, as well as, that was 2 or 3 of them, but they were killed during that hand-to-hand combat phase. So the Imperial Fists, Blade Guard veterans and Terminator Captain are still going, and we have our Eradicators up on the roof here. They're looking pretty beat up, but they're still going. So I'm going to move over to the Imperial Fist movement phase now, and it's going to move into turn 3 for them. Apologies if the turns and stuff are kind of all over the place. I'm just kind of tracking, I'm not writing anything down, and this was kind of more of a test battle, but I'm definitely going to put it up on YouTube just to see how long it is, how the things went. So we'll definitely have this more polished off for future fights, but I thought it'd be really cool, just quick battle here, and keep it going for all the different chapters to see kind of their strengths and weaknesses versus the same Tyranid swarm each time. So it's been a lot of fun so far, and it's moving back to my Imperial Fist now to hopefully take out some more models, and maybe we'll do a sum up there soon to show you guys the enemies who have been lost. I'm also going to do a tally at the end to show what kind of units have been killed. There's no crusade here, so there's no leveling up or points or kill points or anything like that, but just to show how many enemies each chapter finishes off with their kind of strategy based on their lore. And the Imperial Fists are doing pretty well so far. I'm hoping they can maybe last another couple turns. We'll see. If they win this one out, oof, I might have to... No, I don't want to up the enemies, because then that's not going to make it fair for future battles. But, you know, if they can take them out by some miracle, we'll see, because this is about a 400-point Imperial Fist army. I did the calculation there, and then just under 1,200 for the Tyranid. So I'm going to get to it now, Imperial Fist movement, and I will be right back. Okay, so Imperial Fist move here just happened. The Tervagon, as we saw, is coming in. The Eradicators who are on top of the roof have jumped down. There is a Spore mine very close, so I'm hoping that they won't be killed by that, but we will see. They're going to be aiming at the Parasite of Mortrex. Heavy Intercessors did not move. They're going to try to stay on the roof and probably fire down at the Barbgaunts, or the Von Rein's Leaper, or maybe this squad of Termagants. And then down here, the hand-to-hand combat unit led by the Terminator Captain has gone in. So the Terminator Captain has gone in against 3 Ripper Swarms by himself, and the Blade Guard veterans have gone in against the Ripper Swarms here. So we are going to see, I'm going to do the shoot roll now, come right back, show you guys what happened. Okay, so a quick but very effective shoot turn or shoot phase from the Imperial Fists. The Eradicator squad, the Multi-Melta actually didn't fire, but the Melta rifle did, and it is within the 9 inches to give it the Melta 2. So the Melta rifle is able to finish off the Parasite of Mortrix, which is actually the warlord for this Tyranid army. So we have killed the commander. That doesn't mean that the Tyranids retreat, but at least it's dead. And the heavy intercessors were able to fire all of their weapons, including the heavy bolter, and they were able to kill the barb gaunts that were over here. So another shoot unit killed. It is now moving over to hand-to-hand combat for the Imperial Fists, and I'm hoping, since we initiated the hand-to-hand combat, that we can maybe kill these Ripper Swarms. If not, the Ripper Swarms will be able to fight back, and they can do some damage even though they're tiny. So we're going to see what happens, and I'll come right back and show you the outcome of the hand-to-hand combat. Okay, and that finishes off the Imperial Fist hand-to-hand combat phase. Pretty good one as well. So the Blade Guard Ancients or veterans were able to kill the 2 Ripper Swarms that they were fighting, and the Terminator Captain was able to kill 2 and wound the final. So that last Ripper Swarm has 2 wounds from 4. It moves back over to the Tyranid. That Turvagon in hand-to-hand is quite scary, so that's very close. There's also Spore Mines floating around all over the place, and we're going to get into the move turn right now, and I will show you guys what happens. Just for this, I'm going to be moving the Spore Mines into a location where they can explode, so I'm actually probably going to do that first, since the move would turn into that explosion. So if it kills any Marines, I will come back and show you guys that as per their abilities. And then from there, I'll do the remaining move for the rest of the Tyranid force. And I'm hoping my Imperial Fist can hold off maybe another couple turns, but it's starting to get pretty crazy. And this is, of course, the Last Stand series. So they're probably not going to make it out, but let's see how far they can make it and how many enemies they can kill along the way. Okay, so before I go on to the rest of the move for the Tyranid, I just want to show you guys the Spore Mine has come in right beside the Eradicator squad, and the Spore Mine has floated up in between the Heavy Intercessor squad. I'm just going to go over to the rules and read that ability for them so you guys know what's happening, and I'll roll that and show you what comes of it. So the Floating Death. Each time this unit or an enemy unit ends a move, for each model in this unit that is within 3 inches of one or more enemy units, select one of those enemy units. That model is in this unit is destroyed, then roll 1d6. On a 2 to 5, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. On a 6, that enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. So I think to build up the drama here, I'm going to go to my dice tray after I've read you guys that ability, and we're going to see what happens here, and I will come right back and we'll see the outcome.
Okay, so behind the dice rolling camera to show you guys what happens to my Eradicators here. So again, the Floating Death rule. If I roll a 2 to 5 on the 1d6, the enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound, and on a 6, that enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. So let's see how it goes. And the Eradicators, as well as the Heavy Intercessors that are both in range of those Spore Mines, do not have an invulnerable save, so this will kill them, mattering on how many wounds are allocated. So hoping for a 2 to 5. I got a 3, so that's really good. That does kill one of my Eradicators, but the other one is still alive. And now I'm going to be rolling for my Heavy Intercessors. So hoping again for a 2 to 5. It's a 1. So yeah, and with a 1, it didn't roll high enough. So nothing happened with the Spore Mine. It just kind of exploded, and I guess the pieces of shrapnel didn't affect the Marines. So that's good for the Heavy Intercessors. They're still good to go, but my Eradicators have lost that 1 model. So I'm going to show you guys the outcome on my other camera. I'll be right back.
Now it's starting to look a lot more like Starship Troopers. So some big hand-to-hand combat moves here. Don't know how much longer the Imperial Fist can hold on. The Turvagon has gone right into hand-to-hand with the Blade Guard veteran. The Ripper Swarm is in with the Terminator Captain again. The Screamer Killer, after this guy just lost his buddy there to the Spore Mine, has gone right into hand-to-hand combat with the Multi-Melta Eradicator. And then this Heavy Assault or Heavy Intercessor squad has a bunch of Gargoyles, as well as the final Von Zronen's Leaper on them. So this is going to be possibly the last turn. We'll see who survives. And there's Termagants all over the place. And our buddy the Biovore back here lobbed in another Spore Mine right into the facility here. So even if they do survive some stuff, that thing's still going to be floating around. So I think from this combat, the last standing model might be my Terminator Captain, but this is going to be the Tyranid initiative for hand-to-hand combat, and we're going to see how they roll right after this. Yeah, hopefully there'll be some Imperial Fist models left, but this battle I think is coming to an end very soon. So stand by, and I'll come right back and show you guys what happened. Okay, so my Imperial Fists live to fight on. They did have a casualty. The remaining Eradicator lost to the Screamer Killer. The Tervagon actually didn't do as well as I thought it would with those Crushing Claws. So there is a Blade Veteran down to 1 wound. And they were able to fight back. No wounds were given to the Tervagon, but they did pretty well. My Terminator Captain killed that final Ripper Swarm, and he is staring that Screamer Killer down. And then over here, my heavy intercessors were able to battle back against the Von Rein's Leaper and push it off the roof. So no casualties to the heavy intercessors or to the Tyranid there. And then the gargoyles were kind of shoot off the roof as well. Shoo, 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 you gargoyle-ish birds. And they were knocked off the roof too. So this is going to be quite a showdown here in this next turn. It's moving back over to the Imperial Fist movement right now, and we're going to see what happens. The Stormbolter is not going to do much against that Screamer Killer, so I think my Terminator Captain is going to go right in. And then we're going to have to see what happens with this Tervagon. There's also the Spore Mine floating around here, and then tons of small Termagant models and whatnot around. But the Imperial Fists are still holding on. I thought they were going to lose a lot more during that turn, but they are definitely doing the Imperial Fist name right and defending this fortress with their lives. So on to the Imperial Fist movement, and I'll be right back to show you guys the outcome. Very quick move, as there's not too many models to move around here. So I took the initiative. My Blade Guard veterans, as well as the Terminator Captain, have gone right into hand-to-hand with the Screamer Killer to take the initiative, as opposed to it attacking them next turn. And then my heavy intercessors have jumped off the roof, and they are going to try to put their heavy bolt rifles into the Tervagon to see what they can do. And the Tyranid move turn next turn is going to have pretty much every single model deep into this facility, but we're going to try to kill as many models as we can to up the unit kills for this Imperial Fist force, and we'll see how it goes. I'll be right back with the shoot. I'm going to do the shoot and the hand-to-hand combat in one take, and I'll show you guys the outcome of that, and hopefully these Imperial Fists can kill a few models. Let's see how it goes. An absolutely amazing hand-to-hand combat turn. You wouldn't think if you saw it, but the Screamer Killer starts with 10 wounds. It's down to 2. So the Terminator Captain with those 2 Blade Guard veterans were able to bring it down from 10 to 2 wounds. So they gave it 8 hand-to-hand combat wounds. It fought back though and killed the 2 Blade Guard veterans, and the Terminator Captain is all that remains from that hand-to-hand combat assault. He has gone back-to-back with his heavy intercessor squad, and they tried to fire all of their weapons into the Tervagon, and it didn't do anything. So it's moving back over to the Tyranid now, and as you can see, this is going to be pretty much just a swamp of Tyranid swarm coming over the walls at these remaining 6 Imperial Fist. I'm going to go to the move phase, and I'll come right back and show you guys the outcome of that. And then we're going to get into shooting and hand-to-hand, and that might be the final turn. We'll have to see. Maybe by some chance these guys will hold on, because there is the invulnerable save with the Terminator Captain, and there is a high enough toughness there too with the heavy intercessor squad. So let's see. I'll be right back. Well, maybe the first last stand of the Last Stand series. You can see the Tyranid have completely swarmed the Imperial Fists that remain. So the Tervagon, as well as this entire Hormagaunt swarm brood, has jumped on the heavy intercessors. The gargoyles are just out of range, but they're on the roof ready to kind of pick away anything that's left. The Von Ryan Leaper leapt into combat with the Imperial Fists. These Termagants have come around the corner, and they're also ready to jump in, and then there's a swarm of them coming in through here. The Screamer Killer is locked in with the Terminator Captain, and the lone Spore Mine is still floating around. So there's going to be no shoot here. It's going to be all hand-to-hand. I'm going to roll off camera. I will come back, and if there is one of these models still alive by the end of this, it's a miracle, but they've been doing pretty well, so we'll have to see. And if they can start killing some models back in hand-to-hand combat, it'd be awesome to add up their tally for the final kill count at the end of the game. I'll be right back. Okay, so I just rolled the hand-to-hand for the heavy intercessors, and now it is the Terminator Captain versus the Screamer Killer. So the Screamer Killer is going first, as it went in first for attacking, so 3 pluses to hit. I actually didn't roll very well either for, I don't want to give anything away yet because I haven't turned over, but there might be some heavy intercessors left because I didn't roll too well for the Tyranid that turn. So
I'll show you guys that in a sec, but we'll see. So all of these are hits. It is wounding on 2s. It is a strength 10 versus toughness 5. That was a better roll. All are through. Let's see if the Terminator Captain can do something here. So these are all through. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attacks. It is a -2 to AP, which brings the Terminator Captain to his 4+ invulnerable save. And let's see how we do. So 1 wound through, 2 wounds, but there is damage to each of those. So he was able to save 5 of the 7, which is great. The Screamer Killer, however, does 3 damage, so that is 3, 6 damage, and that's the end of our Terminator Captain. I'm going to flip it over to my other camera and show you guys who is left after that.
Okay, so here's the outcome of that hand-to-hand combat phase during Last Stand Imperial Fists. The Terminator Captain, as we just saw with the roll, was killed by the Screamer Killer. He wasn't able to do any wounds on it because he was killed before he could fight back. There are however, two heavy intercessors remaining, both with 3 wounds, the Sergeant and the Heavy Bolter. I don't think I'm going to be able to take the Tervigon in hand-to-hand combat, so I'm going to move them right now while I'm on camera against this Von Zorian's Leaper. Take one more unit out because it has 1 wound left on it. I'm just going to move this dice over here because these guys still have 3 wounds. So they're in hand-to-hand combat with the Von Zorian Leaper. Hopefully they can kill it here, because if it does get the chance to fight back, it might actually wound one of them or maybe kill one of them. So I'm going to roll that off camera. I'll be right back. And then pretty much every single Tyranid here is going to be moving in on those 2. And I'll roll for the big models first after that and probably get that on the dice camera. But I think this is the final phase of the Imperial Fists. They have decided to go in and protect this fortification with one last hand-to-hand combat move. So here we go. I'm going to roll that off camera and I'll be right back to show you guys what happened. They did it. So that might be the last move that they've done in the game, but they were able to kill that final Von Ryan's Leaper. They got 50% of their rolls to hit, and then about 1 dice roll to wound, I think, out of the 3, and they were able to kill it as it made a 2+ save, and it needs a 4. So we're now going to go back to the Tyranid, and as you can see, the force that's around them is insane. I'm going to be moving that on camera too. So we've got the Screamer Killer. It actually can't fit too well through the facility, so maybe... It's in there though. There we go. So push the building right out of the way because it's that big. The Tervigon's in there too. Full wounds on the Tervigon. The gargoyles, I'll have them jump down in a sec here. And good luck. My last 2 Imperial Fists. No invulnerable save for these guys. So just to give you guys kind of a view of what they're seeing here. But they know no fear. So they're going to go down fighting. Hopefully they can maybe repel a couple of the wounds. We'll have to see. But these 2 teamed up against 2 heavy intercessors. I don't think there's much of a chance, but you never know. We'll see. Maybe I'll roll miraculously. I'm going to go to my dice tray now and show you guys how that goes. And I'll be right back with the result.
Okay, back behind the dice rolling camera for the final hand-to-hand combat phase. I should say what could be the final hand-to-hand. I'm going to be rolling for the Screamer Killer first, and this is the last stand of those 2 heavy intercessor Space Marines Imperial Fists. So here we go. 3 pluses to hit. Not a great roll. We'll see what happens here. It is, however, strength 10 versus toughness 6, so still not amazing. I have to hit here, or a wound here on 3s. And 2 more have fallen off, so we have 4 hits. This is a -2 to AP, which raises their save to 5+ because they don't have an invulnerable. So if there's 2 attacks here that are not saved, that's going to be the end of these 2 final Imperial Fists. So here we go. 5 pluses. Let's do it. They tried. So 3 1s and a 6. So there was 1 save. He jumped out of the way, or maybe the Gravis armor took one of the claws of the Carnifex, and then, or the Screamer Killer, and then this is 3, 6, 9 wounds to 6 wounds. So that is it. The Imperial Fists have lost. I'll go back over to my other camera and fill you guys in on what that looks like. All right, just to give you guys a view of what they were facing here. I know I did it earlier, but I moved some more models in just to show you sort of the hopelessness of the situation, but they fought on until the very end. The 2 of them were killed by the Screamer Killer. No other models were needed to roll that finishing.
So the Imperial Fists have done their last stand as my first chapter in this new kind of experiment of gaming. Very excited to get this one edited and put together. I'm also using a new mic too, so I'm hoping the audio is good. It's like a lapel lavalier mic, so I'm hoping that's good. My wife got that for me for Christmas. Thanks, honey. I'm going to show you guys now the casualties, and I'm actually going to probably put those up as a score as well. So I'm just going to remove these two models, get them out of all of this chitinous teeth and claws. So whatever facility this was has been overrun by the Tyranid now. Maybe the Imperial Fists were trying to protect something further down the road, or maybe they're an observation point to see, you know, how far the Tyranid had made it. But that is it. The Tyranid have won. And I'm going to show you now the total of casualties. And then from there, as other chapters fight this exact same army, we'll see if they do more kills, less kills. The chapter's kind of strategy changes too each time you play as one. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. And I don't know who I'm going to put up next. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. I should have some Dark Angels good to go for the next one. Ultramarines, Raven Guard, Black Templar, and I might even have some Salamanders in time. So we'll see what's going on. I'm feeling Raven Guard, but we'll see. And I'll move over here. So this is the tally of kills for the Imperial Fists during Last Stand Series Battle 1. So they killed all of the Barbgaunts. They killed the Parasite of Mortrex. They killed a 20 section of Termagants. They killed 2 sections of Ripper Swarms. The Spore Mines blew up, but that still kind of counts, I guess, because they didn't, you know, there's still models that were expended to kill the Imperial Fists. And then there's 2 squads of Von Ryan's Leapers. So that is the total for the Imperial Fists. So again, Barbgaunts, Parasite of Mortrex, Termagant section, 2 Ripper Swarm sections, 2 Spore Mines, and 2 sections of Von Ryan's Leapers. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed. And we'll see who we got coming up next. Finnigan 40K. And might be seeing you guys in the new year. So I'll say Happy New Year when I see you in 2025. But thank you for watching again. And yeah, give us a like, subscribe. Don't want any of your money, just doing this for entertainment purposes. And I hope you enjoy. Bye-bye.